It's Wellness Nerd Out time! How you guys doing today? Happy Wellness Nerd Out time. And today we're going to nerd out about what's in my shopping bag, my grocery bag. Why is it in there? Price-wise, nutrition-wise, most importantly. Let's get right into it. Let's see what we got. We have 100% grass-fed ground beef. 100%. We would like better than 85-15. That's all they had. I was at Aldi on the way home from work. You know, you do what you can. But 85-15 is still pretty solid in terms of fat, lean to fat ratio, right? But what are the vitamins, right? And as a premise, we're going to briefly go through all the vitamins and beneficial compounds that some of these foods have, but most importantly, the principle that you should eat things you find in nature. If you take nothing else from this video, please take that. That's the most important thing, by far, okay? And the ratios of how we would eat things, protein and fats and carbs and things like that. So what do we got in ground beef? Well, grass-fed beef particularly has higher amounts of vitamin A, vitamin E, and other antioxidants, not to mention more omega-3s and less saturated fat than does traditionally grain-fed beef, right? So that's one thing that makes it better. It's chock full of B vitamins, and we know we get a ton of protein with red meat and ground beef, or something even like a porterhouse steak. Right now, maybe we don't want to raise our cholesterol too high and have it every single day, right? But every now and then, it is absolutely just fine, right? So that's the first one we got. Ground beef, grass-fed. That's how it would be fed in nature, right? Again, no secret. These natural cows, they're not fed all this shit, right? And good in, good out is a very true thing. You can find many examples in nature. Wild-caught salmon versus farm-raised is a really common one, where you get more omega-6s to omega-3s in farm-raised, whereas you're supposed to have more omega-3s to omega-6s in terms of the fat ratio naturally we would find in nature, right, which wild-caught salmon contains. Okay. What do we got next? We have blueberries and raspberries. Bada bing, bada boom. Oh my God, they're not organic. Jig is up. Okay, if you don't have that much money, like me, maybe you can't afford to get certain things like that, but you would be able to afford it if it was that important to you. So why didn't I prioritize that? I'm just going to wash them. I'll just wash them really well and they'll be fine, right? So that's the first thing. What's more important is that we're getting the blueberries, we're getting the raspberries, right? Again, what I'm eating isn't perfect. Don't be the same as When Wellness. Be better than us. We want you to be the best you can be for yourself, right? But here's a little bar guideline you can set for yourself. Frame of reference, if you will. So blueberries, they're full of antioxidants, anti-inflammatory, and so they reduce your risk for developing neurodegenerative disease, cancer, cardiovascular disease, right? They have anthocyanins in them, and anthocyanins actually support endothelial cells in the blood vessel wall. How are you guys? Thank you for hopping on. We'll get to you in a second here. So anthocyanins, they're found in blueberries, also raspberries, right? Many berries, blackberries too. They have these antioxidants, and they come in many fancy names, and you hear of anthocyanins, flavonoids, polyphenols, phenols, which is just, polyphenols are many phenols, things like that, right? They're all antioxidants. They combat free radicals. They reduce oxidative stress in the body. They reduce the negative effects of aging. They slow the aging process. And they reduce your risk for developing neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, vascular dementia, for example, to name a few. Now, if these anthocyanins, as we got off topic for a second there, support endothelial cells, which line the inside of our blood vessel walls, right? There's a blood vessel. Well, they promote improved blood flow and a reduction in blood pressure, right? Because we're improving the health of the things that line the blood vessels. Okay. Not to mention, both of these berries contain flavonoids, or you could say flavanols. And flavonoids, according to Harvard Medical School, improve coordination, memory, and mood. That's again according to Harvard Medical School. So pretty great stuff there. Not to mention, we get a ton of soluble fiber. So, would I have a meal where I had just this? The balance is really important. Of course not. I need some fiber. I'm getting protein. I'm getting a lot of B vitamins. I'm getting a lot of nutrition here. But I need a lot of fiber. And I can't emphasize that enough. Not only does it make you more regular, reduce constipation, promote the influx of water, the retention of water in a healthy manner, right? But also feeds your gut bacteria, right? Lowers blood sugar. Cholesterol doesn't spike blood sugar, right? It reduces cholesterol to soluble fiber. And it promotes the activity and function, improved function of your gut bacteria. Which brings us to our next food on the list. It's kefir. You already know. Kefir. Kefir. Did I get the sweetened one? No, I didn't, because it tastes plenty good. Two, I would inject myself with nutrients if I could, right? I don't care about the taste. I care about what it does for me. Having said that, these foods are delicious, and I prepare them in a way that I really enjoy them, right? It's healthy to enjoy your food. You don't want to just eat rabbit food all the time and not release good endorphins when you eat. Whole nother thing. So, what do we have here? Let's see. Shane, can you get this in nature? Well, yeah, it's milk. It's fermented milk is kefir. If you were curious, if you didn't know what it is, it's fermented milk, right? And it's lactose intolerance friendly. That's great. Full of probiotics. Not to mention 40 grams of protein in this whole thing, I think. Yeah, 4 servings, 4 cups, 10 grams each. So, 110 calories per cup. We haven't even really been talking as much macronutrients, right? It's our fats, carbs, and proteins. Right? We haven't even really been discussing those as much as micronutrients here in the beginning of this video, but, we'll get into the breakdown of protein and things like that. But the probiotics, gut bacteria. Your gut bacteria are super important. They support your immune system, right? They reduce inflammation. And they actually aid in the production of vitamins endogenously or within your body, such as B1, B2, B5, B7, and B9, right? So it's very important that we have a well-fed, flourishing, thriving gut microbiome, okay? So this is giving you the bacteria, right, the fermented foods, and these cultured foods. Whereas something like this gives us soluble fiber that feeds the gut bacteria. So you see how these things act synergistically. It's beneficial to have the berries with the probiotics. We're feeding the bacteria we're taking in, right? And the raspberries as well. Not to mention they're helping us break down the meat a little bit better, right? So it's all connected, you guys. Now, again, it's not about the science. It's not about these specific fun little facts. Take them as you will. It's about making sure everything you get from the grocery store can be found in nature. And we'll talk about our challenge at the end here. What do we got next? We have eggs. Damn right we have eggs. Now, again, we could be better. Pasture raised, $7 a carton. Light on money. We didn't get the paycheck yet, but this is as real as it gets, guys. I consider myself very healthy. I do my absolute best. One day I'll have enough money that I don't have to worry about what I put in the grocery cart, right? But right now I can't afford that luxury. We have bills to pay. We have things we need to take care of, right? So, having said that, you can still eat really, really healthy on a low budget. This was $5.50, right? It's a pound of beef, right? This was $2.99. It's not terrible, right? These were $2.50. This is a couple bucks, right? this was $1.50 or something. Great, right? So, what is it with eggs that is good? Well, we know they have some micronutrients, iron, selenium, phosphorus, to name a few. Not to mention they're chock full of B vitamins, just about all of them. As we have so many B vitamins in red meat, we said too, all these foods are full of vitamins, right? And eggs also are a great source of protein. Bang for your buck wise, I think they might be the best. Just off the top of my head, in terms of what you get, calorie protein wise and what you're paying for, right? They have healthy fats. Not to mention, people say, oh, don't eat the yolk. Well, the yolk's full of all vitamins, like the white is the protein, right? But aside from the vitamins, the yolk also has cholesterol. And cholesterol is a good thing in moderation, right? Obviously, a ton of anything isn't good. But cholesterol is a precursor to testosterone, right? So that's obviously important for bone density and muscle strength and performance and vigor and hair growth and all sorts of things, right? In the body. Libido and mood. So it's not just that, but interestingly also, eggs have choline in them. And acetylcholine may be formed when an acetyl group combines with choline, and that's the learning neurotransmitter, acetylcholine. Facilitates learning and memory, focus, and attention. So a fantastic thing to have in the morning if you are someone that doesn't fast, right? Spoiler alert, fasting is involved in our challenge here at When Wellness we're going to talk about in a few minutes. So let's briefly get through the rest here. What else did I buy? A shit ton of kefir. There's like 4 or 5 of these. A couple more things of beef. 3 more cartons of eggs. And this is the last new thing. A little bit of spring mix. How you doing? Absolutely great. Obviously full of vitamins. Aside from the A and K and E, B vitamin, ton of stuff that we could say vitamin-wise, antioxidants, anti-inflammatory, great for your gut, feed your gut bacteria. How are you going to absorb these the best? You're going to put a source of fats with them, a healthy source of fats, like avocado or extra virgin olive oil or something of that regard, right? Because these vitamins are fat soluble, and so it improves their absorption, right? You wouldn't take vitamin D with just water, right? Vitamin D is a fat soluble vitamin. A, D, E, and K, they're fat soluble, right? For example. So you want to have some form of fat with them, improve the absorption, and it does so to a great degree. Does it improve the absorption? So it's well worth putting some extra virgin olive oil on these. I already have extra virgin olive oil. So would I eat all these together in one meal? Maybe is a good question I just thought of. Yeah. And what I really genuinely thought about, I had to think, am I balanced here? Pretty well, I would have a little more protein because I intermittent fast. I eat 1 meal a day, so I would eat a little bit more, right? But we're talking what, 80 something, 84 in this or something like that. 4 exactly, 84. If there's 5 to 6 grams of protein, I think it's one of those. And I can't find it on here. Potassium, 70 milligrams. Interesting. Yeah, it's 6 grams. That's what I thought. Because I got the large, and remember the large versus the jumbo. I think jumbo was like 8, 7 or 8, whatever the hell it is. I think it's 8. But 6 grams. So, say I had 10 eggs, right? 60. Say I have 84 here, right? 144. Is that right? Yeah. So then say I had a whole thing of kefir, get my probiotics, right? 184. I'm like 220 pounds, something around there. By the time I get this, I could have I have 40 grams of BCAAs about, and I can call it a day, and I've had 1 gram per pound of body weight, at least sufficient to maintain muscle mass and potentially even grow muscle mass, right? If that's what I'm looking for, while getting tons of nutrition. I don't have to sacrifice the nutrition just to build muscle, right? So that is a little breakdown. Also, if I want to diversify the nutrients even more, aside from having this salad and each pack of the berries and the beef and that and the kefir, right? I go for something like salmon, right? Say I get some wild caught salmon out of the fridge I have left over, maybe have a little piece of that as well. So Shane, whoa, your only carbs here are these, really? Well, I got some carbs in the kefir too, actually more carbs than you think, right? And I would have maybe some nuts on top of that, and seeds, maybe some flax seeds, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds. And as my carbs, maybe I will make something like quinoa to have with the beef, right? Also to make it taste real good. It's fun to have it with some brown rice or something like that. I wouldn't use white rice. But what is the time I would use white rice if I were to cook it? When would that be? When would you guys have this beef with white rice? Right after the workout, right? Because it's a simple carbohydrate. And our muscles are like sponges after we work out. And they're just ready to soak up these carbs, replenish glycogen stores, the sugar stores in our body. So the next workout, we have tons of energy and we can keep rocking and rocking and rocking without breaking down muscle when we don't have oxygen. Right? So that's what we got. Here's our challenge. You're going to try and eat only things you can find in nature for the next 10 days. 10-day challenge. When you go to the grocery store, you can't buy a bag of potato chips. You can't go to Burger King and get a burger because that bun isn't in nature. Wait, Shane, I make it from things in it. Once you start going there, you're going astray. These things are processed, highly processed. A fantastic example is sodium nitrate versus the nitrates we find in these, which are amazing. Once you combine it with sodium and process things under heat, process them in any way like that, it's no good, right? And you're not getting nearly the same nutritional value, and in fact, it's having deleterious effects, harmful effects on your health, right? So quite the opposite. So that's what we want to do. For 10 days, you're going to shop, you're going to live around the perimeter of the grocery store, unless you're getting something like nuts, right, from the inside. You're going to do that. Or, like something you can find in nature could be extracted from an animal, right? But purely, no added sugar. This is nothing added to this. Let's see, there are 0.0 grams of added sugar. 0 grams of added sugar. We don't have anything with added sugar. We don't have anything with trans fats. Nothing with canola oil. Anything like that. And if you want peanut butter, what's it going to say in the ingredient list? Peanuts and sea salt. Right? So nothing processed. Now here's part 2 of the 10-day challenge. Try intermittent fasting. Not eating 4 hours before you go to bed and 4 hours after you wake up. That's with 8 hours of sleep, a cumulative 16-hour fast. And you have 8 hours to eat all these wonderful things that you can find in nature. So, if you can't pick it, if you can't kill it, if you can't extract it from an animal, if you can't find it in nature and drink it, make the tea from the leaves, and it's purely that with no added sugar. Make the coffee from the coffee beans, and it's purely that with no added crap. Please, try not having it. What are we drinking with this meal? Gallon of water. Not distilled water, spring water, right? We'll take the minerals and whatnot. That is all we got for you guys today. I hope you got something out of that. Please, try the challenge. We've done challenges here at When Wellness before. I've had some great results, great feedback. I would really love to hear how it's going for you. And honestly, feel free to send me a message every day and say, Shane, today was hard. I had this. I couldn't find that at the grocery store. It was tough for me to do this. I'm only eating things in nature. It's really, and I will be happy to help you. I want to help you achieve this 10-day challenge, because it's not about what you're going to achieve over 10 days. It's about what you're going to show yourself that you can do and what you should be doing for yourself in the long term. It's about making you fully independently capable of improving your overall health and your life. That is and forever will be our message at When Wellness. Let's see who we got. Say what's up to the homies. Stormy D, how you doing? Foots LV forever. What's going on? Matthew Ballin, Madison Purifoy. You can have black coffee, D. Silves. That is fine. Black coffee and black tea and water during your fast are fine. Royal Zabre, Little Cakey, Alex Danielle Murillo. Thank you, Raven Lips. Much appreciated. John Henry Napa. Jeep Dude, what's going on? P.S. T.H. Versum, Pister Versum, what's going on? Butchered your name, I'm sorry, man. Andrade, Joyce Marv. Jermaine Alayton, how you doing? Boston Chicken Life. W. Tang, it is a nice store behind me, thank you. Well Elshar, W. Tang. Justin Trapp. Michael Justin. Hey, hell yeah. Ken, what's going on, my man? Absolutely. Nutritional efficiency. That's right. Al Grayle. Ton Artistry. Allegra. Leighton Artistry. How are you? Objective Observer as well. D. Sills. LJRJE. Luca Waka. D. Sills, my man, appreciate that. Chad Michael, Anthony Camillo, JBW, Carlo and Manuel, how are you guys? I hope you're having a great night. Chesty, Beefy Beers, Michelle, what's going on? Shemenis, Muscle Vitality, how are you, my friend? Muscle Vitality, excuse me. Bouvier Albert, Tim Cook, J.C. Wooden, thank you very much. Artistry, hey, thank you. Thank you. Janny, what's going on? Turbio Loaded, Jeffrey Miles, how are you, my friend? Catered by Julaine, Royal Papalote, Marcus Rose Fashion, Wings Up, how are you, man? Thank you. David C.T. Bray J. What's happening, my friend? Sean Kolb. J.R. Castillo. German Boy. What's up, my man? I hope you're... German Boy 22. That is a great name. My dad is 100% German, and so is my grandma, who's visiting me right now. And 22 is my lucky number and my dad's, so really great there. You get the best name of the day. So that's for sure. Meg, what's going on? James in Giant World. James in a Giant World. On a giant peach. That's what I think of. APOC Rocky. KSO 923. Brandon Malone. TLC08. Gino, what's happening? KJ. Daniel Herrera. Oro 12 Roman. Thank you guys so much. I hope you got something out of it. I did butcher it bad, Stormy, you're right. Layla Flora, 1945. La Potencia, 2003. Arian Fitness, BJ90. Who else we got? Keith Tucker, 21. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Not sure where, not sure when, but we'll see you then. Dan Yeller, 71 at the bell. Take it easy. Thanks. Happy Wend Wellness.